Hey everyone, they finally released the last few cards of the Luard Stride deck set, and if you've been following me, right, you would know that I've been saying Shiranui is gonna be better than Luard. I feel like today it's pretty much confirmed, right? The Shiranui deck set, they're like, I think it's all. We haven't seen the last two cards of the set yet. Like there's a Mukuro and I think like Furai or something. But unless they're like actually negative to the deck set, like totally negative, right? I think Shiranui is just better, man. It's just better. So we're gonna quickly go through the cards today. I'm not gonna go through all the cards. Not gonna go through the whole deck set. I'm gonna show you the key points and then tell you my thoughts, right? So first off, let's have a little bit of a flashback to last week. This is Drag Driver Luard. Well, this guy is just like a Ritual 3. And you get to call a ritual, like on attack, CB1, and call a card with the ritual ability to the field. And it just basically gives it the 4th attack, right? Multi-attack. Pretty normal for a first strike. It doesn't give power though, so that's a bit sad. But yeah, just another attack is always nice. The next card is the stuff they revealed today. So we've got Abyssal Owl. This one is actually pretty interesting. It's in the drop zone Ritual 3. Right, if there are 3 or more grade 1 cards in the drop zone, if you forgot all the ritual effects, at the end of the turn, if you're Vanguard with buying 2 cards of the same name as this unit from your drop and countercharge 1. So if you have 2 Abyssal Owls, you have Ritual 3, you bind 2 of these guys, you can bind itself as well, right, and you get a countercharge 1. So overall, you get a max, if you're running 4 of this, you get like a max of 2 countercharges a game, right, and that's pretty good. I think that's enough. It's enough. I mean, people were talking about din drains and all that, but you have this guy. I think this guy just satisfies the condition. The first effect is just the same thing as the other, I think, what you call the stride fodders, right? So if you, it's basically searches for another grade 3 card with Luard if you discard. So pretty good. And then next we have is just the Moresa. So Moresa was the highly anticipated card that is going to save the deck. This one is pretty cool. So in the drop zone, it gets grade -1, so it counts as grade 1 in the drop zone, so it adds to ritual count. Then the Ritual 3 ability is that when it attacks a Vanguard, if you have Drag, Heart, Luard, Crest, until the end of battle, this unit gets plus 5,000 power. You have 2 or more face-up cards in your G-Zone. 2 or more face-up, right? So this won't work on your first attack, unlike the Shiranui guy. I think it's Sekie, right? Counterblast 1, search your deck for up to 1 unit with a ritual ability and with a different name from this unit and call it to the rearguard circle and shuffle your deck. So basically what it means is that you can't call another Moresa, so you can't keep on chaining attacks just to call something else. So what this means though, if you bring it full circle, right, we have Drag Driver, who can call this guy, or this lady, and then Moresa can call another card, giving you 5 attacks, which is pretty good. It's pretty good. You can also like have it on the, it's not like a hard once per turn or anything, so you can already have it on the field to make even more attacks, I guess. So that's pretty cool. Like later on you get like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then like 5, 6, right? So it's pretty nice. Pretty nice. Lots of one more attack than I think than actually no, it's not one more extra attack than Shiranui. Because Shiranui gets dominate. Oh dang, dude. Nah, but CB1's actually okay because you have the counter charge to get rid of it. And then we also have this semi-ass. So I forgot what I remember she was just a really bad card way back. This one's a Ritual 3 effect. During a turn, if you have a Drag Heart Luard Crest, you get 2k, so it's 10k power. Generation Break 1, when this unit is placed on the rearguard circle, other than during your battle phase, if you have a Vanguard with Luard in this card name, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 to the rearguard circle, and put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order you called at the end of this turn. Retire the units called by this effect. So it's just a free, thing on the board that you can call, and hopefully you'll just sack it later. It's okay. It doesn't work in your battle phase. You'll use it, call this from Luard's effect, right? And then call more stuff to kind of fill out your board. You're going to need a full board when you look at the Drag Stride Luard. So this one has the Persona Stride requirement, but it doesn't matter because you're Luard. So you just ignore the costs of striding. So just throw that first stride cost into the bin. The second effect, though, is a bit more restrictive. So this is GB2 Ritual 7. When this unit attacks, if you have 5 or more units with ritual ability, until the end of the battle, this unit gets power plus 10,000 and a critical. And then for the cost, you can retire 2 of your rearguards and discard a grade 3 with Luard in this card name from your hand. You actually still need those grade 3 Luards. And at the end of the turn, this unit gets drive +1. And if your opponent cannot call grade 1 or greater cards from their hand to the Guardian Circle. So it's basically, it's similar to the old Drag Stride. It grants Guard Restrict, gets quad drive. You need to sack 2 and discard a like Persona cost though, like discard a Luard. So that one is a bit iffy, but it does get a lot of power. Like think about this, when you stride this as your second stride, you're gonna have like 2 face-up stuff already. Then you have this guy. So this on top of the 13k Luard is like 28k plus 10k, 38k, and then another 10k from the unflips that you did the previous turn. That's a lot of guard that your opponent has to drop for a quad drive with a critical. So that's pretty scary, unless they have a Sanctitude. Then you can just cry. Right, I think that's just how it is. But it can get bigger. Like if this is your third stride, then it's like a 58k ride with like Guard Restrict. That's pretty cool. But honestly, I feel like you're just gonna keep on going back into your good old buddy drag driver Luard instead, just to make the multi-attacks, and they'll just scale progressively bigger every single turn because you're unflipping more cards. So that's how it is. So what do I actually think about this deck, and why do I automatically think Shinui is better? So one of the problems I have to say with this deck is that you do need like a full board of, you want to like build a full board of Ritual, right, to be able to have access to this card. And of course, not having a full board at the beginning of the turn is fine, because you can easily kind of build a full board of Ritual. That doesn't mean that you do have to put in a lot of Ritual cards in your deck, which means that unless the card itself has printed Ritual on it, then, you know, it's like, where is the space coming from, right? Where is the space coming from? That's pretty hard. You're running like Morfesses. You have to run Luards as well, because you don't get to skimp on them because of this guy. You have your Barley clone, which luckily has, you know, Ritual in it. And then you probably want to run 4 of the Owl. Then you need 4 PGs. So, as you can see, if you look at my fingers, I don't know if you can see, I've been counting how many 4 ofs or something that you need in the deck. You're having to run a lot of Rituals in the deck, which means that you don't have a lot of stuff that is not Ritual, which would be like pretty nice to have, right? Because what this deck doesn't do so far is that it doesn't draw that many cards. You know, when you think of Chrono Jet, you have GG, right? That draws a bunch of cards, which is great, because when you draw cards, you draw PGs and more cards to use later on. While Messiah, you just have a built-in GB2 effect that just draws you cards anyway, so that's very nice. But Luard currently doesn't, and sure, it does call a bunch of stuff and technically thins the deck, which means you can probably trigger better and aim to close out games quicker. But it just doesn't have, like, I guess if you put it that way, your long term feels a bit weaker than the other deck, just because you're not drawing the extra cards. So you just might die. You just might randomly die more, right? So in that way, that is the restricting factor of Luard. Like, well, so does this make Luard a bad deck, right? I don't think so at all, right? If you think about it, because you need so many Ritual cards in your deck, and it doesn't allow that much variation of the deck outside of like putting in maybe like just a couple of like non-Ritual cards in just for extra utility, like Duering, so you can keep on salvaging PGs. It does mean that like when you buy this deck, it's automatically pretty much near perfect right out of the box, right? So everyone new out there, and I'm pretty sure, and all the returning players, and I'm sure they marketed this very correctly, because I'm sure Bushiroad, not just if we think we like Luard, I'm pretty sure Bushiroad knows how much you like Luard too, and how many of those people who are sitting around not playing the game currently also likes Luard, who are going to jump into the game because Luard is back. So I actually don't think this is a bad deck at all, and in fact, it's probably going to be the best entry-level product for a lot of new players and returning players, just because the modifications to this deck won't be much at all, right? You can literally jump in and go, which is great. So, like, if you think about it, right, like, if I was to put it in other terms, so this deck is pretty much like NA in League of Legends, right? They're better than EU, but they're not beating LPL and LCK, which is like Chrono Jet. But yeah, no, this is still a very good deck set, and well, Shiranui, I think, will just be better, right? I do think Shiranui is better. Like, the Regard quality for Shiranui is actually insanely good. But we're going to see what Mukuro does later on Tuesday, and I'm sure that's going to be a very, very good card too. But everything that we've seen for Luard so far is still pretty nice. So if you are a Luard fan, don't feel bad. I'm sure you'll still win games. This effect, although very heavily restricted, will still steal a bunch of games too, because guard restrict is very dirty. And just the overall card quality of Luard is still decent. Still decent. I think you probably play a bit more rushy. Maybe the tech is actually to cut down on rituals, and you just play more good generic Keta stuff, because Keta does have a lot of generic stuff. But I don't know. It's something that people have to test out, right? So that is it for me. Let me know what you think of Luard in the comments below. This deck is going to sell anyway, right? That's why I said the Shunui one is better, because Luard is so famous that no matter how they make the deck, even if this was like tier like F, this deck will sell out immediately, because Luard's just that fun. So that is it for me. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in top decks very soon. So, bye.